Okay, here we go. Judith, we are in DC at Judith Place, and I'm going to do an interview with Judith. Judith, welcome to DC. And how was the stay in Portmore?
Oh, my stay in Portmore. It was great. It was great. Lots of lessons that I learned that from childhood that now carried over into my adulthood. So, good experience in Portmore.
Do you follow up with activity and what's going on back in Jamaica?
To be honest, yes. On social media, I do, but I'm not an active person. Like I go out to look for what's happening. No, it's if I'm scrolling through my on my social media and I see things, I will read and comment.
All right. So tell me a little about your school days back in Jamaica.
School days. How far do you want me to go about? Basic school, elementary school,
School
high
days, Miss Judith.
school days. Okay. Well, let's talk about my school days in Portmore. It was absolutely instrumental because I never missed a day from school since when I moved to Portmore, which is Independent City All Age School. I started in seventh grade through ninth grade, and it was a phenomenal experience. I have great teachers, and my parents at the time was very instrumental because they were active and supportive with my education.
Okay. Um, Anything about job in Jamaica?
Yes. Well, when I left after Independence City All Age and I went to high school, Norman Manley High, I spent only 2 years there. And then after graduating, I had to either enroll in a college or find a job. That was directive from my dad. And I was actively looking for a job and applying to college at the same time. And I wanted to get away from home so I could be a little bit more independent. So I applied for college, Teachers College outside of Kingston or Portmore. And I applied at Sam Sharp Teachers College in Montego Bay and was accepted, but I did not attend due to other choices and options.
Co-
Rewind, before that, I landed a job at a pharmacy, which I enjoyed because I was now earning my own money.
So compared to your days and with today kids,
Mhm.
how would you make that narrative with them, with you at the
Well,
present?
time has changed drastically because technology now, time has evolved, evolution to call, no, technology is a big part of today's day compared to my days. So things that these children are into now, are what the resources that they have. I did not have that in my childhood growing up. However, I appreciate my childhood and my time of upbringing. Though I may not have all the technology and the tools that are available now, I do appreciate my time. And it's just the things that they are into and that's acceptable, it was not acceptable for me. So just I'm gonna leave it there. Time has changed, and for there are pros and cons between both eras.
Okay. Could you just talk a little bit about migrating to the United States?
Yes, yes. So I migrated to the United States in the early '90s, and I came all alone, no parents. So I was staying with family member. It was rough because in the big city, New York, if you are not level-headed and strong and focused, you would be lost and just get into the wrong things that you're not supposed to get into, especially not having support. However, I kept in touch with my father in Jamaica who guided me virtually he was in Jamaica, but he was a big influence on me. So he would tell me, do this, do that, and I followed the instructions. Went to school, always have a job, make sure that I'm into money management. That was a big part growing up with my dad. So that carried with me from baby to adult. So in being in the US without any guidance because of my upbringing with my parents, it just propelled me to be who I am as a young lady in my teens in New York City. And I was focused and determined to achieve and make something of myself. So I followed my father's blueprints.
Okay,
That was my
happy to hear that word blueprint. Somebody listening this video, after all, they will say, "Oh, that's my very good friend that tell me about this blueprint." Okay, if you have to say three things to any family member, young people, your own child, what would be the main advice for these young siblings and your friends and family?
Three things. Okay, first, listen to your parents. They're not gonna lead you wrong. Listen to your parents. That's one big thing. Two, make sure that you have a mind of your own. You're not easily influenced by anyone, the outside crowds. You may have friends, and your friends will advise you to do this. Make sure that you think about the advice and know who you're taking those advice from. All right, because you want to make sure that the intention is positive and it's going to be beneficial to you. So first, follow your parents' guidance and instructions. Two, make sure that you're having a mind of your own and your decision is based on you and not outside influence, if it's not, especially if it's not positive. And three, you need to make sure that you incorporate or include God in your life at all times. You want to make sure that even when you're a young person, you want to make sure that you pray, you talk to God, meditate. It doesn't, when you meditate, you see a clearer vision and you think about God, and He will lead you the right way. And I have a fourth one too. Know your goals, and education is priority. Even if you may not want to earn a degree, but make sure that you're always learning, whether it's a trade or a skill. Just focus on something that will be beneficial to you in life. So education, learning is always paramount.
Okay, I understand that you spent several years in the banking sector. What would you say to people, as I'm going to term them, the naysayers?
In reference to
The financial,
finances,
yes.
well, it is important to manage your funds at an early age. It's very crucial. Mistakes can be made, but you want to make sure that you correct it early, because the older you get, it gets harder to sometimes to correct certain behaviors. So savings is very important. Managing your money is important. So it doesn't matter how much you earn, you want to make sure that you are putting something, as we would say, for a rainy day. It's important. I'm grateful for my parents again. My dad, who it was a big influence in this part of my life, to teach me to save at an early age, and as a result, it was very beneficial to me as I get older. So you want to make sure, don't ever say, "Oh, I'm not earning enough to save." Even if it's $5 a paycheck, put something aside, especially when you're in your younger years, because as you get older, you'll see the interest earned on that $5.
Well, this was a very good interview, Miss Graham, my daughter, Miss Joji Pat, and I'm going to give you the last word to sum it all up. What would be the resolution
Resolution for what?
for the final of the interview? Sum it all up.
Oh, to recap it?
Yes.
Well, I think your goal, what you're trying to accomplish, is to share tips and suggestions to to an audience, I don't want to say to the younger people, but to an audience of some things that help, um, that can help you to be successful in life. So that's the only way I can sum it up. Are to lead you on the right path, to make positive decision, to make decision that will benefit you positively, as I just mentioned, and that you can share and pass on to your children or grandchildren, nieces, nephews, whomever. So I think that's what your goal is, and I hope you accomplished it.
And for that, Miss Judith, thank you for the interview. Have a blessed day. Take care.
Thank
Here
you.
you got it.
Bye.
Rolling microphone in the